The Tampa Bay Derby isn't just about talent, it's about surface. Tampa Bay Downs is known for being one of the most demanding main tracks in the country, deeper, sandier, far more stamina testing than many of these horses are used to. And that changes everything. How will you find your winner? Facts and figures are going to give you that winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. I'm Maura with Trifecta and a little bit extra, and I've been in this sport analyzing races and owning shares of some of these horses for more than 16 years. And in this Tampa Bay Derby preview, I'm not only going to analyze all contenders, the field of 9, but also evaluating which runners are truly built for these conditions and which ones may struggle when that real racing begins. Now we are on the Derby Trail, and this race is going to be held Saturday, March 7th. It awards 50 coveted Kentucky Derby points. But before we begin, I need to remind you this. Horse betting is not legal in every state, so if you're betting, make sure it's legal. Let's start with the race architecture. In other words, how is this race set up and how the track itself influences the outcome? Now, there are two key factors here, the surface and positioning. And at Tampa Bay, those two go hand in hand. The race is run at 1 1/16. That distance begins with a relatively short run into that first turn, which means early positioning matters. Horses don't have a long time to sort themselves out and get into place. That said, there's still enough room for those outside horses to establish position. In fact, over the last 10 years, 4 winners have come from post 10 and 11, proving that wide draws can work. Typically, those runners are either going to use that early speed to clear the field, or they're just going to tuck in behind the leaders and save ground. Now, while early positioning is important, it's not everything. In fact, the backstretch is long, and jockeys know that they have time to reposition themselves and adjust. The real separation, it begins right before the far turn, that final bend into the stretch. Most winners at Tampa Bay are within 3 lengths of the leader at that point. In simple terms, they're close enough to strike when that race gets serious. And that type of positioning is what I'm going to upgrade. Now, deep closers, horses that sit far back early, not impossible here. 3 have won this race in the past decade. Tapatrice, Tacitus, and Taprit. And if they all sound familiar, it's because they're all related to Tapit, a stallion known for producing stamina. And that brings us to the most important variable in this race, stamina. The stretch at Tampa Bay, 976 feet long, giving horses time to make a run. But what really defines the track is the surface. Tampa Bay's dirt has been described as sandy, beach-like. It's deeper, more energy demanding than most tracks out there. And that means it could tire out horses that don't have the fitness or endurance to sustain their effort. Speed horses without stamina, they're going to fade late. And closers without stamina won't finish strongly enough to catch them. This surface exposes conditioning. And because of that, I'm going to give extra consideration to horses who have run well over this track before, jockeys who know how to get those horses around, and runners that have proven that they can finish strongly at the longer distance. Now, with that framework in mind, let's start with the contenders. Starting off with a horse that has really proven himself, but on the turf, Redland Rebels. Now, I find him to be a very interesting prospect in this race. 3 starts with a win and a place. All 3 starts are at Gulfstream. Here's what I find interesting. 2 of the starts are on the turf. 1 is a mile race. He goes right to the lead. He wins by 6 lengths. Now the speed figure comes back a little light at 71, and the field wasn't really that competitive, but that was August of last year. He then makes his 3-year-old debut in January in the Kitten's Joy, a stakes race at this distance, but it's on the turf. Again, he gets to the lead and he loses by only a neck. So he's proven he could get the distance. But here's the thing about this surface. Turf horses who are forwardly placed, they could do well. The higher sand content means the surface is not hard dirt, so turf can translate. And we know this horse likes to be forwardly placed, so he's got the running style that we're looking for. Does he have the stamina? Well, in the last race, we did see sustained stamina. So if he brings that again, in my opinion, wild card threat. Now on to a horse that I've just been waiting for his return, waiting to make sure he wasn't just all talk at the beginning of his racing career. And of course, we're talking about Talkin. Talkin showed class early. He debuted in August in Saratoga, winning a $100,000 maiden race by a neck, and he defeated some quality horses. Further Ado, who's also in this race, Further Ado went out the next time and won by, get this, 20 lengths. Stradale, a $1.3 million purchase. So all in all, that was a quality debut. And Danny Gargan, his trainer, said, man, this horse had a lot of heart. Then he enters the Grade 1 Champagne. A Grade 1 race signals top talent. He comes in second to Napoleon Solo. Not a bad defeat. Napoleon Solo was so fast and put down those fast fractions. It was the second fastest in that race's history. And he earned an 84 Beyer speed rating, which isn't bad for a 2-year-old. Then he goes into the G2 Remsen. First time he's stretching beyond the mile into a 1 1/8, and that's a big jump in distance. Unfortunately, he draws the outermost gate, post position 11. He's got to go wide. He tires. He finishes a disappointing 9th with a 57 Beyer speed rating. Draw a line right through that race. But here's the thing. I may have been waiting for him to get back on the Derby trail, but I do worry about him in this race. In the Grade 1 Champagne at the 3/4 pole, he was 8.5 lengths from the leader, and we said, hey, we want these horses to be closer to the leader than that. In the Remsen, even with all that trouble, he was 2 lengths back. I need that Talkin. I need the stalkin' Talkin. I also need a Talkin with sustained stamina because of this surface. The Remsen says he tired, and well, his performance said it too. And in the Champagne, it said mild kick. I need more than that for this surface. So for me, because I haven't seen the stamina that's required of the surface, and he's debuting and I don't know what I'm getting, I can't call him an elite top contender. Given he had flashes of talent in his 2-year-old season, I say wild card threat. Now, before we move on to that next contender, if you're finding this analysis useful, interesting, maybe even a bit entertaining, then go ahead and hit that like button and share with all your racing friends. That tells YouTube to keep showing this to racing fans just like you. And if you haven't done so, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and never miss out on my analysis for these races and the road to the Kentucky Derby. And if you want horse racing education, I got you. Now back to the contenders. Next up, we've got a horse that has been consistent and up against some quality horses. It is Roger That Dana. He has had 3 starts on the board in all 3, a win and place in a show, and all 3 were at Gulfstream. Now, after winning his maiden race, which was restricted to state-bred horses only, he then goes into a race with this distance. Unfortunately, he can only manage 3rd, 10 lengths behind the leader, 66 Beyer speed rating, very light. But then he makes his 3-year-old debut, Mucho Macho Man Stakes. He finishes 6 lengths behind the leader with a 79 Beyer. Now, the horses that beat him in both of those races, they turned out to be quality horses. Strategic Risk went on to win the Smarty Jones, and Commandment just took command of the Fountain of Youth with a 101 Beyer. He's got the right running style, being 3 lengths or less off the leader at the 3/4 pole, but I don't really see the speed or the stamina that I'm looking for. So for me, Roger That, just a pass. Our next horse is looking to wrestle the competition to the ground. It is Hulkamania, starring in his 2nd career start. Now he's coming off a win here at Tampa, and yes, I said a win here at Tampa. So we know he can handle the track surface. It was a 7 furlong race. He stalked, the running style I'm looking for, takes the lead and wins by 4 lengths. That's impressive. Now, the Beyer speed figure is a bit light at 71, but he can improve because that was just his first start. Can he get the longer distance? Well, he's by Mackenzie out of a frosted mare, so that distance should be within him. But he's up against some classy horses here. He has the right running style. He's got that Tampa Bay win, and he's got a pedigree. So I'm going to say potential to hit the board. Our next horse has all of the horsepower. Powershift. This is another horse with a second career start, and this one's got to be considered elite top contender. First, he's got that Tampa Bay experience that we're looking for. He can handle this track surface. His one start was 1 mile and 40 yards. Comes out of the gate well, saves ground by getting on the inside, and he is stalking the leader on the back stretch. At the 3/4 pole, he takes the lead, which is exactly the positioning that we want to see. Now entering the stretch, he bumps emerging market. These two are dueling down the stretch. Now I love to see a duel. It says a horse has heart. He comes in second, just misses by less than a length. Now he's got that dueling heart that I just talked about, and he's got the stamina. Plus, he's by constitution, whose sire is guess who? Tapit. And he earned a 96 Beyer speed figure, one of the top in the field. Oh, and guess what? His trainer, Todd Pletcher, most winning trainer for the Tampa Bay Derby with 6 wins. Now, he may only be a maiden, meaning he has yet to win a race, but there's so much to love here. For me, elite win contender. You want buzz? There's a buzz horse on the Derby trail, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce him. It's Further Ado. I have such mixed emotions about this Brad Cox trainee. Now, he was all a buzz last fall because in a $110,000 maiden special weight race at Keeneland, going this distance, he wins by an incredible 20 lengths, and he earns a 98 Beyer speed rating. Outstanding, right? Then he enters the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club. Again, this distance. He gets the win, but an 82 Beyer speed figure? That's a big regression. Where did all that flash go? And the strength of the field, man, they haven't really come back to shine. So now we get his 3-year-old debut. Who are we going to see? He's been training at Pace and Park, which is a plus. It's a deep surface. That bodes well for this Tampa Bay surface. And he put in a couple bullet workouts, which means he was the fastest in training those days. So that bit of a fact would make me say, hey, he's going to be competitive here. So I'm going to say elite win contender, but we're going to need to see a better Further Ado than we saw in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Now to a horse that may be flying under the radar, and this one struck me as interesting. It's Thunderbuck. 3 starts with 1 win. Now that win came in his second start at the fairgrounds going this distance. He had to go 5 wide, but wins with an 81 Beyer speed rating. That should have set him up nicely for his next race, the G3 Lecomte Stakes. Same distance and same track, but then his performance, a bit of a head scratcher. He was in striking distance in the backstretch, but the notes say he just retreated. He finished 10th with a 61 Beyer speed rating. Ouch. Now he's trying another Derby prep. If he improves off of that 81 Beyer speed rating, he could be competitive here. In his maiden, he showed the running style we're looking for. At the 3/4 pole, he was right behind the leader. He's by Gunrunner, which means he should relish the longer distance. And he gets Tampa Bay's leading jockey of Samuel Marin. But what about the stamina needed for the surface? I don't know. I don't see it. But for all the other factors, I'm going to say potential to hit the board. Next up, I have another Tapit influenced horse, and one that has Tampa Bay Downs experience. That should stop you in your tracks. This is the Puma. The Puma was in a key prep race for this race, the Sam F. Davis, this distance and this track. Now, he brushed a horse leaving the gate. He got into that key striking distance on the backstretch, but he couldn't really strike against Renegade and Wayne's Law. But I also want you to note the notes say he kept on to the wire with a final speed rating of an 83. Now, we're going to need more than that if he's going to challenge Powershift and Further Ado if they bring their A games. But the sire is Essential Quality, whose sire was Tapit. So we know we have a horse that has stamina and likes the surface and also has the right running style. And this is a horse who ran second, first time out, to a horse that I really love, Chief Wallaby, who just came in second in the Fountain of Youth. Maybe a maiden, and he's gonna need a big jump in speed. But for me, he's gonna be sitting somewhere between elite top contender and wild card threat. Now here comes a horse, $1 million prospect for Chad Brown. It's Canaletto. And guess who he's half brother to? Fan favorite Sandman. One and only race, a mile at Gulfstream at the end of January. He gets to the lead, and the only question was, how many lengths did he want to win by? He was a bit green, and he still finished 8 lengths ahead of everyone else. Very fast fractions in that race, 23 and change, 46 and change, and in the end, an 89 buyer, which is impressive for a first time out. What worries me? The strength of the field. Most of the horses that ran back, hey, they're only showing buyer speed figures in the 60s. And this is going to be his first try at 2 turns on a track that requires stamina. He's buying into mischief, so the breeding's there. And he's also training at Payson, so that bodes well for this surface. There's going to be some questions to answer here, but given what I'm seeing, I have to say, wild card threat. The surface is deep, and so is the field. So many good contenders to choose from, but now's the most important time of the video. It's time for you to tell me, who do you like in the Tampa Bay Derby and why? Drop me a comment below, and don't miss out. We are on the Derby trail together. If this analysis was helpful, unique, go ahead and hit like and hit subscribe. What are you waiting for? Because I'm here to provide you with this quality information and horse racing education. I hope you all find your winner on Saturday and sashay away with your money. Until next time, cheers.